Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Garage Gym Experiment podcast. My name is Adam. That's Jake, and we're back again for another great episode. On tonight's episode, we're going to start this one off with home gym upgrades Jake will never go back to, talking about things he has upgraded and that he is happy with and not going back. We have a HomeGymCon update. Then we're going to get to some data, some polls in 5 years. Who will be the largest supplier of home gym strength? If you've been following the podcast for a while, this is something we have continued to ask, and it's been fun to track the data there. Jake was in Fargo at PRx Jammergate, and so he's going to share about his visit and everything that he came away with from that trip. And then we have some new products at the end of the episode. Be sure to stick around for those products from Rogue, Force, PRx, and Rep. Jake, let's hear about those updates.
All right. I can get this to work.
Whenever you're ready, Jake, those updates.
All right. Thank you, Adam. So 5 products I've upgraded to and will never go back. And next week we'll talk about things that I think you can get away with more at like a budget. You won't really notice the upgrade difference. So number 1, roller J-cups. So roller J-cups are easily, and Adam's talked about this too, they're my favorite type of J-cup. I have a power rack, and on the inside of my power rack I have roller J-cups, and on the outside I have sandwich J-cups, and I definitely notice the difference. Whenever I have it on the sandwich cups, I miss the roller J-cups, and if I had to do it again, I would absolutely use roller J-cups. Again, Adam, you have the ones from Titan. I have the ones from Irwin. I think if you're on a budget, you had them.
2x2, I had them. I'm missing.
Oh, right. That's right.
The roller style. So I would love to spend some money and get some nice, even if I went the Titan route again. Yeah, I'd love to go back.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you can get by with the Titan ones. They're decent, but the premium ones are nice as well. Stainless steel barbells. So I think this applies to garage gym owners. So you can see, if you're looking at it on YouTube or on Spotify, you can see I have some barbells in a picture, and one I cleaned up at the beginning of the summer. It looked pretty pristine, and a couple months later it's full of rust. Not that I mind lifting with rusty barbells, but I think just for time saving space, or time saving, just for the time saved, I'd go with the time saving aspect. I'd go with stainless steel barbells. So if I had to do it again, I'm starting my home gym, I'm probably going with a stainless steel barbell. I would say number 3 is an open trap bar. So this isn't necessarily an upgrade, but it's something that I used to have a traditional hex trap bar. Now I have open trap bars, and I don't see any reason really for owning a traditional hex bar where you have to like step in, or it's fully enclosed. So I would say if you are only selling an open, or if you're a company and you're only selling a closed hex trap bar, that's one way to show that you are behind the times. So I would say update that thing with an open trap bar. Number 4, I think the first machine that I would add to my home gym, just to like add a dynamic to leg days, make them less intimidating, would be a standalone leg curl / leg extension. I don't necessarily think this is like an upgrade, but it's kind of like outside of the big 4 that you would add first. So I think that's a good example. And then adjustable dumbbells over like loadable dumbbells. So any day I would absolutely choose adjustable dumbbells, even if they're more pricey than like a set of loadable dumbbells, just because of the time saved during your workouts.
Yeah, I love those. I think the leg curl leg extension, though it may not be an equipment upgrade, it's a huge gym upgrade that I don't think a lot of people would regret. Maybe if you're just a power lifter, you might not hit those accessories as hard. But if you're just going for like bodybuilding or general strength, that's a huge gym upgrade. It's like, okay, if I have a barbell, I can squat. I can lunge with the barbell. That sounds horrible. RDLs, there's just everything is like compound movement, compound movement, compound movement. It's nice to get some isolation in there. Huge gym upgrade. I love that one.
Yeah. So actually, earlier today, I tweaked my back for like the first time in a long time. And I know that I have leg day tomorrow. And it's much more doable with a machine like that. To where I don't have to put any pressure on my back. So, yeah, highly recommend that as like one of the first few machines that you'll add to your home gym. And then honorable mention, I just put 3x3 racks just because I put it as honorable mention because it's just kind of obvious. I do think it's a perfectly okay if you're on a budget to start a home gym with like a 2x2 rack and then eventually upgrade. But once you get that 3x3 rack, there's not a chance you're going to want to ever go back to something smaller. So there's that.
Couldn't agree more. Yep, I had the 2x2 for the longest time, said I didn't need anything else, and though I didn't need it, I did upgrade to the 3x3, and you're right. You're not going back.
Nope. All right, next up, a quick HomeGymCon update. So we are up to 74 vendors. So over the past week or week and a half, we've added Intech, Body Solids coming back. Rugged Fitness is kind of Body Solids, another brand, a more budget friendly brand. So they'll be right next to each other. And then Extreme Training Equipment will be back as well. So we're up to 74. Let's make a goal to get to 80 by the end of August. I think that's a good goal. And then the room block for HomeGymCon is now available. So I'll put the link into the show notes. But you can grab a room at the Galt House Hotel. The range is either $199 or $219. And I'll just mention it's right next to the Kentucky International Convention Center. So I would say I talked about it last time on the podcast. The earlier you sign up, it helps us kind of track and keep on pace and know what we need to do to hit our numbers. And then also something that we ran into, some trouble that we ran into last year was like, a lot of people signed up for like the double queen beds. So if you need like a double queen bed or some sort of specific situation, those are usually the rooms that run out first. So I would say go ahead, grab your room. There's no deposit needed. I think you can cancel up to 48 hours before. So, all right. We have one survey question to go over. So, last week we asked in 5 years who will be the most popular equipment supplier for home gym strength. This is a question we've been asking since 2021. Have some trending data after this. But we asked about the biggest companies and then others. The relatively easy winner for this question was Rep. They received 48%. Rogue was in second place with 37%. We merged Bells of Steel and Titan together into one answer. 6% thought either of those two would be the most popular. And then 9% said other. As I mentioned, we have trending data. So we've mixed and matched, or we've switched some possible answers in and out since 2021. Rep and Rogue have been in there each time though, and you can kind of see Rogue going down each time and then Rep going up. So in February of 2021, Rogue received 62% of the votes. The general consensus was that Rogue's on top, and they'll always be on top. And as I discussed, they received 37% of the votes this time, whereas in February 2021, Rep only received 13% of the votes, and they surpassed Rogue for the very first time this time around with 48% of the votes.
It's been crazy doing this podcast and asking for this long. It used to be you were kind of rooting for the underdog when you used to say Rep, and people would be like, yeah, but it's Rogue, probably not. And to watch it slowly slip away from Rogue and Rep slowly keep gaining and now finally surpass. Like, it's been now it doesn't feel silly at all to say, oh no, Rep's number one in the home gym community. It's like that, as you can tell by the data and like in a general conversation, people might like Rogue better, but they're gonna be like, oh, I see where you're coming from. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, definitely Rep. So it's been really cool to watch that transition. From the outside, I don't think it would be cool from being like inside Rogue to watch that, but you know.
No, it'll be interesting because the last 4 or 5 months, Rogue's really been pumping some new products. So I'm curious to see how this looks next year. We have quite a bit of other like questions where we simply ask the scenario, like, where are you buying your home gym from? Where are you going to get a power rack from? So we'll, over the next few months, we have a bunch of questions like that where we simply choose like Rogue, Rep, or Titan because it kind of gives it gives like a good like what's your budget or what are you looking for type of answers. Not necessarily these are your only choices, obviously, but it kind of gives you an idea as to what people want to spend for certain things or what features they're looking for at what price. So be on the lookout for more questions like that, and just understand like there are lots of answers for this, but we choose some of the more popular ones that also give you a good guideline as to what people want in terms of budget. Last week, I was able to tag along with Kyle and Britton to go to PRx. I won't go over all the details because there's other podcasts going over those. But in general, we had some fun. We did like some breakout sessions in terms of like what's going on in the community. We did like a tour, and we did workouts. We got some content. So we did a lot of things. In general, it was a really good visit. And then I just have some takeaways from the trip, and then just like the entire situation after meeting with them and talking to them, and just giving this some time. So takeaways from the trip. So number one, so I would say PRx missed obviously at the beginning, but it wasn't necessarily so simple. It wasn't like they just wanted to get this product out. There were a lot of reasons why like it just wasn't caught, or it wasn't really considered to try and collaborate with anybody else on the product. So I did a podcast with them and kind of tried to ask them to get some of this out. They didn't mention it, but I'll just add a few things about the situation. So number one, Kyle was like talking to an engineer a year or so ago about the product. That engineer left. So like that was one thing. PRx also they have the two co-founders, but they're kind of like very high level, and they were also in this transition where they were bringing on a new president. So they have a new president that's only been there for months, and that didn't help either. So I think there were just a number of things that the timing didn't align right, and it was missed. With all that being said, I think the big thing that I got out of it is PRx expressed remorse. So they opened up about like the reaction video and how their initial reactions to Kyle and how they thought it was basically war. And ultimately, like, decided like they were wrong. Like their mindset was just off. It wasn't about like owning patents or doing what was legal. It was really about ultimately like working with the community, collaborating, and doing what's best for all. So I think that was big. They really go into that on the Roundtable podcast I was able to do. I mentioned like we got like a tour of the facility, and I think like one thing that I took away was they've been around since 2013. They had very humble roots, and there's a lot of other like small manufacturers that are going through that right now. And I would say PRx ultimately made it and invested heavily over like 10 years. They're in a good spot in terms of like making their own stuff, having their own manufacturing facility, and are living kind of like the dream. They still have quite a bit of work to do, but they made it, which is what a lot of people ultimately want to do. And, they're not like a corporate bully is not something that I would use to describe them. So they have a very friendly workplace. All the workers seem, very happy, and I just don't like, they have 60 employees. They're not like this big company going after small people. So that's definitely something I took away from it. I mentioned impressive manufacturing facility. So they have quite a bit of space, number of different tools. They've clearly invested like probably millions of dollars to get that set up. And that kind of leads me into like my next point is that they have what it takes to help a lot of maybe some other smaller companies, and then also just creators get their ideas on the ground. So one thing that they really mentioned is that this could have ultimately be a blessing in disguise, because they see the potential in working with a lot of different creators or smaller manufacturers. So this trip ultimately reinforced how I feel about like the collaboration model. We've seen it with AbMat, you've seen Rep do it, you've seen Fringe do it, you've seen Rogue do it. So I think this kind of just this entire situation awoken PRx to see the potential in doing this as well. And there's nobody who really at this scale has the ability to produce as much equipment within the US as PRx. So I think they have a really good opportunity to lean heavily into this and make quite a bit of good out of it. So I think only time will tell. I think easier said than done to find the right collaborators, contributors, but the opportunity is there. And then one more thing, I think one thing that helped me reminded me about the potential of this collaboration model was just hearing Britton from Vendetta talk about products. He's working on his thing, like scrambling to do it with his family and his other job, and he's not really able to provide as much equipment as he wants to but he has the brain to produce product after product after product after product. He was truly very impressive within the facility. He would basically go up to a product and be like, oh, I would do it like this. I would do it like this. And I just think there's many minds like that within the home gym community, that if they're paired with the right company, or they are able to express their ideas to the right people, there's quite a bit of products that can be created by both of these companies, by the company and other collaborator working together. So that's what I got.
The end of Jammergate. We all appreciated the soap opera going on, and I think everyone really liked the way things ended with everyone on good terms. It feels like, right, Jake? Like all smiling faces at the end.
Yeah, and I think one thing I should have mentioned was it seemed like Kyle and Britton and whoever else they're working with, they all kind of had most of it figured out by the time we got there. So they weren't like going into dark rooms and figuring it out. It was more of like a meet and greet and just general chat. We tried to educate them on the home gym community, and they kind of showed us what they can do. And so I think a lot of that has already been taken care of, but not something I really know much about.
I was really hoping the situation where, like, dark room, they write a number on a piece of paper, fold it in half, slide it across. It happens like 4 or 5 times until they settle it with like a beer or something. That's okay. Damn. Save that one for the movies.
Yeah.
Trip looked awesome. Looks like you guys are out on a boat. Their facility looked sweet. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I said. Yeah. All right. Let's finish it up with some new products. So Rogue released the Rogue Echo Weight Vest. So this looks like a winner. So it's very similar to the Rogue plate carrier, but even more minimalist. So it looks like something that's really nice for runs and lifting and stair climbing, anything like that. The one caveat is it's not made in the USA like the Rogue plate carrier. So just keep that in mind, but it honestly looks like a better option. Force USA released some budget-friendly rowers and ski trainers. We tried these out when we were out there earlier this year, and they're pretty fine. They're nice. So, similar to everything. Yeah. I'm surprised with the price. Good price for both. I would the ski trainer for $6.99 seems like a really good option.
Yeah, close your eyes. This one or the ski erg, and it'd be hard to tell the difference.
Yeah. Arcadia Max Functional Trainer. So this is Rep's new version of the Arcadia, but larger. So I won't bore you with the specs, but it looks like a pretty good option. And I would say one of the cooler options is it can be you can add band pegs and for a total max resistance of 540 pounds if necessary, aluminum pulleys, and it has that cool wall control style pegboard. So I guess I did go into some of the details.
Is this the limited edition one? They had like a limited edition one where they're only like making 50. And I don't know if it was like a special design or what, or if it's this.
Yeah, so it's the one on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. We're chatting Saturday night. I think they're still available. But yeah, it's like another $100 and includes that cool design. It has like a limited edition kind of stamp on it.
That's
the other options I believe are black and white, but there is like a standard white one which looks pretty cool too. And then lastly, earlier last week I should say, PRx released the leg curl / extension add-on to the Access Pad. It is $3.99 to add on to the Access Pad. One thing that's cool about it is depending on the location of your pulley, you have the potential to use the pulley instead of just a weight horn. So it gives you that full resistance. So it does have to be at the correct spot at the bottom and kind of parallel to the hook. But I did get a chance to try that out and felt pretty good.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us. If you liked tonight's episode, be sure to keep your eye out for new episode releases wherever you listen to podcasts. And be sure to follow Neural News. If you're not subscribed yet, check out the link below and sign up for more home gym content. HomeGymCon coming up next June. We want to see you out there. The room block is open. The Galt House in Louisville, or Louisville, however you decide to say it. Jake, anything else left for the listeners? How do you say it?
Say what?
Louisville. Are you a Louisville? Are you a mouthful? Are you a Louisville? Or are you a Louisville? Don't be that.
Louisville.
A little mixture between
Louisville.
a mouthful and
Louisville.
Louisville. Yeah, I like that. Louisville.